So welcome everyone to this Climate and Environment Subcommittee meeting on the 2nd of July 2024. It's rather a cold, wet day outside, but pleased that you could all come along. So I'm going to do the council blessing. As we deliberate on the issues before us, we trust that we will reflect positively on the communities we serve. Let us all seek to be effective and just, so that with courage and vision and energy, we provide positive leadership in a spirit of harmony and compassion. Okay, so item 3, we'll move on to apologies. So there are a number of people who have given their apologies, namely Councillor Warwick, Councillor Cooper, the Mayor Janet Holborough, Kim Tahiwi and Michael Moore, but some of these people are online. So we've got Janet online, we've got the Mayor online, and we have Councillor Warwick online, and Kirsten Harpiter online as well. So welcome everyone. So item 4 is declarations of interest relating to items on the agenda. Move the apologies. Thank you. Councillor Coe, second them. Thank you. Okay, so item 4, moving on to declarations of interest. Does anyone have any declarations of interest for items on the agenda today? Thank you. So now, item 5, we'll move on to public speaking time for items related to the agenda items. So first of all, I'd like just to sort of set the scene. So we have a number of speakers today, and so what I'll be doing is allowing you 3 minutes, and then there'll be questions after that time. So I'll call you up when it's your turn. So if Robin Smith would like to come forward, please. Thank you. So just wait. Yeah, so now that the red light's on, you can be heard by everyone. Thank you.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Taranaki toko monga, ko Waitara toko awa, no Taranaki au, ko Robin Smith toko ingoa, ko ahu te kai whakahaere o Tahuna Ora or the Coastal Restoration Trust. So I work for the Coastal Restoration Trust on a very part-time basis, probably more than I get paid for, as is usual. The Coastal Restoration Trust is an incorporated society and a charitable trust, which have been actually going since 1996, and we were incorporated in 2007. So we've got a very long history of producing resources and information and supporting communities and councils nationwide to do with dune restoration and more latterly estuary restoration. We've produced a large volume of resources for communities to use in the form of a handbook. We have a website which has a large amount of resources online, and we have technical reports on there as well, which are also written in layperson's language, so anyone can follow them. Our trust is based on science, however, in terms of we have coastal restoration scientists on the board. Latterly, about 3 years ago, we started a video series, producing a video series in partnership with Southlight Studio, who are based in Eastbourne, and we produced 13 videos which are on this little pamphlet here, and these provide people with, and these are freely available because they're from public funding. They're freely available on our website to anyone who wants to look at them, and they cover an overview of how coastal processes work, how we've squeezed, and Kapiti will have very good experience with this, how we've squeezed the coast by building infrastructure quite close to the coast, and how we fight nature and how we can work with nature. And we're a trust that's more about working with nature And so we've done a lot of dune restoration with a lot of communities around New Zealand and with a lot of councils. So now what we want to do is actually focus on a place and show people actually how to do it. So while the other videos have been the overview, this is now we want to get into the real nitty gritty so that somebody can look at the video and go, this is how you plant spinifex. This is what you need to take into account. And it's about looking at a site and looking at the threats and the values and what you can do with that site and how it can help buffer the impacts of sea level rise and climate change storm events. We can't cure that at all, but we can help mitigate. So we need to be really clear about that. So what else do I need to say? Oh, and we have a very good track record. These videos are amazing. If you can have a look at them, in particular number 1, number 2, and number 4 and 5, probably of most interest to you. So this is what we want to do. We want to work with communities. We want to focus on, this video in particular would focus on the Kapiti coast, and we would work with communities who are already here. There's Peka Peka and the Wharazin area that's already been done. There's Waikanae Estuary group, which are really, really strong, and there's a new group started up in Paraparaumu. And I understand there's a lot more groups wanting to start, and that the staff time is really stretched to be able to cover and help all the groups that want to set up. So, we can provide the information and which will help support the staff. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
So thank you for that. So you've come along here today to seek funding for these videos. Can you just explain a bit about the funding that you're actually seeking, please?
Yep. Well, we've got we're seeking $13,000 because that is how much it will cost for Southlight to pay them to do the videos. So the videos are very professional. We have scripts. We work out scripts, and that would be in consultation with staff here too, and community groups and iwi. And we would work to those scripts. So it's quite involved. So their cost is, and they've pared it down as much as they can because we understand that funding it's difficult to get. And the trust is putting in the other $10,000. So we get donations from people. We use those donations. Sometimes we have projects where we can get a small amount of profit, like sometimes at our conference we will come out with a profit at the end of that because we get really good sponsorship. So we put that money into providing more resources. So that's the amount of money we can put in.
Thank you. So I'll ask the committee if they have any further questions. Yes, Mr. Sutton, thank you.
Thank you. Really great work and nice presentation. My questions are more about, really supportive, but my question is more about the dissemination. You say the videos are available on your website. Are they available on social media? Are they available on YouTube? Are they available where people access videos? Are they available where people look for information that might not know about you? And if not, are you thinking about how you can popularise or make these more accessible to communities on the coast?
Yeah. No, they are available on YouTube as well and Vimeo, and we promote them a lot on Facebook. We deal mainly with Facebook. We do have Instagram and TikTok as well, but most community groups tend to operate within Facebook, the Facebook social media. So we do promote those a lot. So we have a very small part-time comms person, a couple of hours a week. Small job, but who's regularly actually promoting those videos. Yeah.
So, thank you. Mr Black.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for your work. Awesome. I love the presentation. A couple of questions. Who is your target audience for these scripts, and what call to action are you want to achieve from them?
Our target audience is community groups who want to do restoration work on their coast. So it would be a step-by-step of how to do it and how to assess a site. So you don't need the technical information. You can just follow the step-by-step. And what was the second part?
Oh, what do you hope? The call of action. What do you hope to achieve from that from these community groups?
Yeah, just that a greater understanding of coastal processes, so that people really understand how coastal processes work, because there is a lot of people that don't understand what happens. They see an erosion event, and they go ooh, and the coastal processes means that the sand comes back, goes out to sea, comes back, and that's very well explained in this video, number 1, how beaches work.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And once communities understand that, then they can see that if we can actually help to buffer that coast with planting, then the natural processes will work, and you get natural form and function happening. So,
Excellent.
it's also council staff. We have a lot of councils that come to our conferences and use these videos. And we've also recently just set up monitoring of a monitoring system, which is really simple. Even I can do it. So it's like it's monitoring for a layperson. So it's not to the 10th degree. It's measuring vegetation change over time, and it's measuring the slope and change of the degree of slope of dunes and coastlines. So it's a really fun thing to do with older children, maybe not little children, but older children too.
I was wondering that'd be a great avenue for the schools as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
Great.
So that's it.
Thank you very much for coming along, and later in our meeting we will consider the applications. You're welcome to stay along, but that won't be held against you if you leave early.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now I'd like to invite Hannah and Anne-Marie from the Raumati Technological Centre to come forward, please.
Anne-Marie's sick.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Hannah.
Are we ready?
Yes, go for
Okay.
it.
Oh, kia ora koutou, ko Hannah Swartz tōku ingoa, and I'm here representing, as you said, the Raumati Technology Centre. Unfortunately, Anne-Marie, the teacher, is sick, and also Pip, the principal, is away at a tangi, but I am really happy and proud to represent this project. For those of you who are not familiar with it, Raumati Tech Centre is the place where Year 7 and 8s go to learn food, technology, sewing, woodwork, and so on. And it's in Hillcrest Road, just backing onto Kapiti College, Raumati Beach Primary, and the kindies there. And what we are doing there is a really innovative sustainability program. So it's part of the module, so that there's 1,000 Year 7 and 8s per week rotate through the school. So it's reaching all the children from Year 7 and 8s from Paikakariki School right up to Waikanai School. All the 11 primary schools within that area all go to the hub to learn technology, and so we are establishing environmental education as part of that technology, so that we have climate literacy amongst our young people. So we are really, firstly I wanted to acknowledge we got a grant last year from the Climate Action Fund, and we are so grateful for that. And what we have done with that money is firstly set up a nursery where we have a greenhouse where the children are growing they're growing food plants. They've also been going down to Whanamaku stream, collecting local seed and learning how to grow that. Excuse me. And we are also, with that funding, we are stretching it. We're really, really good at stretching money a long way. And we are also, we've also bought the plants for food forest, which will be going in shortly in a couple of months. And the idea is that that will be integrated into the children's learning so that they can see how local food grows, they can learn about how to, what does well in our particular climate, which can be challenging on the sandy soil, so it will include water-wise demonstration of irrigation and so on. And they will also be able to use that food in their food technology courses, so they'll be able to go and harvest, and that's what we've done so far with the $10,000 that we got last year, and we are really, we're really grateful for that, and we believe that we've shown that we can give really good value for money and have a really good reach within the community. So as well as the skills that we're giving these Year 7 and 8s, and of course that they are taking home to their whānau, we're also we believe that this is the opportunity to have quite a innovative environmental education hub that can serve the whole community, not just the school students. So I have been teaching there every second weekend, doing community education in sustainable horticulture. We have run composting workshops from there for the council and so on. So the idea is to network with local groups. We've been also networking with the Kapiti Marae, which is nearby, and to work together and revegetate the dune to a microforest that can support bird life. Is that the 3 minutes? Oh, thank you very much. Any questions?
So thank you, Hannah, and I have to admit I've got a great passion for science, so it's great that all young people are having an opportunity to be exposed to this type of activity.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Councillor Coe.
Yes, look, thank you. That sounds like a fantastic program. Look, we've had a lot of applications for these grants, and somehow we have to resolve, how we dish out the money. So if we were not able to fully fund your project, would it still proceed? And, how would you obtain the additional funding?
We are, so because it will proceed, and I think last year we received half the funding that we would have liked, but we basically we do things very I don't want to say cheaply, but we do things on the smell of an oily rag. So we have asked for, we have big dreams that we would love to see, for instance, solar panels on the so that the whole centre is run by solar panels, but that we will continue to seek funding for that. That obviously can't come from this fund. We've got a project which is to make a observation beehive, so that with the glass walls, so that the kids and also the rest of the community can come and look. But so those are kind of the
nice to have.
Maybe nice to have. I believe it will happen, but what is really helpful is just to tick along the development of the Marakai in particular. So we've done the food forest. We would like to establish a food garden around the back of the centre. That can be done on very little money. Basically, the funding will go towards people with specialist skills who can make it happen.
So basically you're saying whatever money you will find a use for.
Yes, we are very grateful for any money, and we will definitely use it wisely. Yeah.
Thank you. Last question from Mr. Black.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I was just about to ask you about your future developments and stuff, and you've answered that for me. I was just wondering, have you got networking opportunities with Otaki? Because they're very, very keen on their kai sovereignty and
Yes, I have visited and actually taken students up to the aho garden at Otaki College. They are really lucky in that they've got amazing facilities with an established orchard and greenhouse and so on. But that's the kind of thing that we would like to see happening here.
Great, thank you. No more questions.
Thank you, Hannah.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm just interested to know if anyone from Kibosh is here. Thank you. Would you like to come forward?
Morena koutou. My name's Susie Robertson. I'm the Chief Executive Kaiarahi of Kibosh, and this is, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Kia ora koutou, I'm Kelty. I'm the Operations Manager for Kapiti Horo Whenua.
So just quickly, Kibosh has been operating for 16 years in the Greater Wellington region. We opened a branch here in Kapiti in May 2020. And since then have rescued and redistributed 370,000 kgs of food to this community. In its essence, Kibosh is a logistics company with a heart. We collect food from supermarkets and other growers and redistribute it to 40 community groups within the Kapiti region. The team here consists of Kelty, the operations manager, Amy, our Amy, our volunteer manager, and a number of food rescue drivers. One of whom, Carlos, is on the road right now collecting food. Whilst our local supermarkets are very generous, they are quite rightly getting better at reducing their food waste, so we need to find new sources of food, which is where our second harvest or gleaning project comes in. This year we brought on board one initially very reluctant grower, and we've been collecting 1 tonne of rejected produce from him a week, which equates to more than from all the supermarkets put together. We'd be very grateful for the amount suggested. At its basic level, the more money we're given, the more food we can collect and redistribute to charities in this community, all of whom are reporting increased need. AFRA, the Aotearoa Food Rescue Alliance, did a return on investment study and found that if you were to buy the amount of food we rescue, it would cost you $4.50 to do so. And I would just like to, Kelty might say a few things, but I'd love, if any of you ever want to come and visit our branch, you are more than welcome. And then if any of you have any connections to growers in the community, would also love to talk to you. Do you want to say anything?
Well, would we open to questions? And
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you, Kelty and Susie. So any questions from the committee? So thank you very much for your presentation. We've all read your applications, and thank you also for your offer of us coming along to see what you actually do.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
could I just, sorry, if there's no questions, could I take a minute? So what we're finding with our volunteer network is that we have access to some amazing knowledge, and what we're hoping to do with this project is to have a very responsive team that can get out and work with our local orchardists and growers and farmers to collect this food with a crossover into working with our youth. So we're just trialing a program at the moment with Paraparaumu College to take students who are not gelling with the academic life of being in the classroom and bringing them out into real life situations and doing meaningful work in the community. So we see that there's an amazing opportunity to cross over in this space, pairing our amazing volunteer network with the youth of our community. Upskilling, yeah.
So thank you, and all the best.
Thank you.
So now we're going to go online to Rangarito Ellison. So hopefully, yes, very good. Hi, how are you?
Kia ora, tēnā koutou. I'm good, thank you. Hopefully you can hear me and I'm not having any issues, technical issues. I'm in the furthest end of the house away from the Wi-Fi.
Yes, perfect,
So I'll
thank you. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, tēnā tātou katoa, ko Rongorito Ellison, tōku ingoa, he ora hau no Ngāti Rau kua te au ki te tonga, I tupu aki au ki Otaki. My name is Rongorito Ellison, I am from Otaki, I whakapapa tū Ngāti Rau kua te au ki te tonga. I was raised in Otaki and schooled at a kura called Te Kura Kaupapa Māori o Te Rito. I come today as a representative of a group called Ohutaiao, or environmental. It's an environmental rōpū comprised of about 8 parents, all volunteer-based, and our purpose and our goal is to support, implement and undertake any initiatives that tautoko tile-related kaupapa for our kura, our students, our teachers, our whānau members, and the wider hapu and iwi hapori of Otaki. So I come to today to present our project, our current project. Currently, we are running about 6 or 7 different initiatives at the school. Those include composting, waste minimisation initiatives. We've also established the foundations for a food forest at the school. We have our marakai that gets fed into the school lunches program. So there are different ways that we are trying to address and tackle some environmental issues that I guess are at a global scale. Today, the presentation is on an initiative called Te Whakarawara or Puke Hina Hina. Essentially, it is trying to reinvigorate and regenerate the mauri or the life force of a hill that is adjacent to the school. So essentially, it started as a native planting project. So we're looking at planting over a 5-acre piece of land. That has now grown into initiatives that include a environmental science basis, mātauranga Māori incorporation, and also a sort of a like native playground. We are in the initial stages. We've finished our concept planning. So if I'm able to, I can give you guys a little visual of what that will look like. And the idea is that we're ready to essentially go into planting. Clearing the land is why we've come to you guys to tono for some putia. I think the initial amount is around 20,000. However, we are grateful to receive any amount that is available to us. The project will be managed by myself as a co-lead, as well as a teacher at the school and a science subject matter expert. We will be the key coordinators of the project. We are also using our networks across the school teachers, the parents, and also in our hapu network. So ngā hapu Otaki are key to us as supporters. Te Runanga Raukawa is another entity that we are reaching out to in terms of utilising them as communications, as well as getting events and different newsletters out to the community to promote our kaupapa. I can't find the PDF and I won't go about trying to do that and take up time, but I'm just wondering if there are any questions.
So thank you, that was very interesting. So any questions from the committee? No, there aren't. So I'd like to thank you very much for coming along today, and at the end, as I said earlier on, at the end of the meeting, we'll make a decision on funding.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, there is a question online from, who's? Kirsten.
Oh, tēnā tātou. I was actually just waving to Tongo Rito, and not a question, just
Okay.
ngā mihi.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will move on to Tree Space Kapiti. Roger and Jeff, if they are here, like to come along and talk to us, please, about your application.
Gotcha.
Perfect, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Scrace. I chair a group called Tree Space Kapiti. We set up this group about a year ago, so we're a fairly young group of very concerned residents, concerned about the loss of trees on the Kapiti coast, and particularly tree canopy. Now, in that time, over the last few months, we've had identified a particular project that we'd like to pursue. And this is called overseas Miyawaki or microforest, tiny forest. It's a technique of developing a dense planting of trees which have been proved to grow at something like 3 to 4 times the rate of trees planted in traditional ways. And the way that's done is to choose relevant varieties of trees and shrubs for the particular ground that we're planting them in. And those trees and shrubs are all complementary, and this helps to boost the growth rate of the trees. Now, in Japan, there are more than 1,000 microforests which are showing these sorts of benefits. And that technique has been applied overseas as well in countries like Canada and Sweden. And there is, in fact, one Miyawaki forest or microforest established in Nelson in New Zealand. And that is showing very good progress. There's one also proposed for Wainuiamata, but that is yet to get off the ground. So what we would like to do is to use funding that the council hopefully will provide to establish a Miyawaki forest so that we can demonstrate the benefits of these small, dense forests. Now, we don't need a great deal of ground to do that. Something like 100 square meters would be fine. So we don't need much to be able to get the sorts of growth rates that we need. We are intending to seek support also from local businesses in support of things like fencing, protection for the plants, nearly all of the hard groundwork will be done by volunteers, including ourselves and any other recruits we can get. A piece of land has been identified and proposed by the council, and we're quite excited about using that piece of land. The main thrust, if you like, for our project is to develop tree canopy in the urban areas. We can see quite a lot of planting going on in the less sort of urban areas, like the coastal areas and Queen Elizabeth Park and Whararoa Park, and those sorts of areas. But it's loss of trees amongst the buildings, amongst the dwellings that we are really concerned about. We'd like to see corridors develop if we can, and planting these small forests will help to create corridors for the benefit of biodiversity.
So your time is actually up now, but thank you very much. That's a really great initiative that you are setting up, and I'm really pleased that you've got the support of council staff as well. So we have Councillor Warwick online with a question.
Oh, kia ora, everyone. My question is just around, have you collaborated or talked to Energise Otaki at all? Because they are planning carbon forests as well, probably on a bigger scale, but it would be good to be working together. That's my only comment. Thank you.
Yeah. No, we haven't communicated with that organisation, but we have communicated with several others. So we have contacts with quite a number of the people who are actively working in restoration. But certainly, thanks for that link. Yes, we'll pursue that.
It just may be worth collaborating. That's all. That you're not you're working together rather than on the same thing in different silos.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I mean we're talking to Russell Bell, for example, and I've been talking to Molly Mellish over in Lower Hutt about her project there. So, yep, we will be talking to many people to get their input and to work alongside them.
Thank you. So, Mr. Black.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Jeff, for your presentation. Hey, look, just a couple of questions. What type of trees are you looking at planting, and how long will it take for them to get to maturity?
The type of trees will depend upon the soil type, of course, and the particular spot that we're looking at the moment is somewhat sandy. So we'll be looking at species that will thrive in those conditions. I mean, things like titoki, cabbage trees, koikoi, even not tawa, totara, and flaxes, and some of the smaller shrubs as well, toi, those sorts of things.
Great. And how long will it take to get to maturity, you know, to actually grow to?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We should expect them to reach something like 4 meters or so within 2-3 years, even 4 years, perhaps 4 years.
Great, thank you.
Councillor Coe.
Sounds like a great project. Just wondering, relating to Simon's question, how long will it take for you to know that this project has been successful, given that trees take a wee while? And once you reach that point of deciding, yes, this has been a success, will you then endeavour to replicate your project in other spaces?
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Councillor. Yeah, we would do monitoring, our own monitoring, checking on the health and the size of the trees over the period of growth, and also looking at as I say, the health of the trees and the shrubs, to see that they are actually complementing each other and growing very vigorously. Yes, we would like to replicate it. We'd like to take the idea to, for example, schools, if they've got a small patch available, and get schools involved in managing those areas and doing studies in them. I mean, it could even be available to businesses that have a bit of spare land as well. As I say, we'd like to be able to increase the canopy within the urban area and industrial areas if possible as well.
Thank you, Councillor Coe. On to Councillor Halliday.
Sorry, thank you, through you, Madam Chair. It's more about noting than anything else. Through long-term plan, we agreed to support a trails trust, just setting up trails, bicycling, connecting up trails around the district. Just wanted to flag that to you for your awareness as well. That might be a group, once it's established, to get in contact with too, because they'll be establishing bicycle, linking up trails, and there might be some really nice opportunities to create some nice little spaces for people to stop or to cycle through in that sort of scenario there as well.
Yes.
But an awesome kaupapa.
Yes, indeed. Thanks very much. Yes, I have seen illustrations of Miyawaki forests with trails through them.
No, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Jeff and Roger for coming along today, and as I said, later on we'll consider your application. So now I'd like to move on to Kapiti College. Amanda and Corrie, I believe, are here. Thank you.
Tēnā koutou. I'm unexpectedly speaking on behalf of the Kapiti College Taiohi leaders for this project application, as Santino is unable to be here due to his school assessment requirements, and Te Kaha is too unwell to be here to speak as we had planned. So Corey and I are stepping in with their support crew, but we're stepping in to speak in their absence. These Year 12 and 13 rangatahi leaders are highly motivated and committed to this project for establishing high-level organic food scrap compost systems at the school and community marae, and to supporting other rangatahi throughout the school to be involved. I'd like to share the Kapiti College Eco Action Group EnviroVision that I've supported them as an Enviro school to develop over recent years. It is to grow passionate, educated leaders of today and tomorrow, these are their words, who are taking responsibility for positive social, cultural and environmental change within the school and wider community. And the second part of that vision, I te reo Māori, ko tō mātou whainga, he poipoi I ngā rangatira o Apopo, arā ngā taiohi, e kōkiri ana I ngā kaupapa, hei whakapai I ngā āhuatanga, whakahirahira o tō tātou hapori me te taiao. In my experience of supporting the KC rangatahi through recent years in my role as a local Enviro Schools community facilitator, many have been leaders for and strong advocates of the School Strike for Climate movement. I'd like to mihi to Councillor Sophie Hanford for her role, inspiration and legacy for those who have followed in her footsteps. Composting is a significant climate action that we can take action for in our everyday lives, enabled by a setup and management of systems to make this easy and efficient. Luckily for us, we have some highly qualified local experts, including Hannah at the back, on board to support the next generation to sustain their great work in our community. Another significant collaborative relationship through this project is with the Raumati Technology Centre, also connected into the EnviroSchools network, who are being leaders for integrating sustainability and regenerative practices across their programs with clear reference to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals within that mahi. And I just want to go back to some words that Te Kaha sent me this morning so I can speak her own words. This kaupapa has the ability to unite the school and wider community in the shared goal of reducing food scrap waste, greenhouse gases production, and our collective contribution to climate change. Act local, think global. This kaupapa will connect rangatahi students to te taiao and te ao Māori, giving practical knowledge of the importance of kai, showing and teaching proper tikanga, as well as educating us on how the normalisation of how composting can restore mauri and mana to the whenua. Waihoki, this kaupapa will teach us life skills and how a more sustainable lifestyle can be achieved. Thank you.
So thank you very much for your presentation and coming along at short notice. Do we have any questions from members of the committee? Mr. Black, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kia ora. Thank you for that. Love the initiative. Would you be able to describe a bit more about the setup of the high-yielding compost? You know, what kind of equipment? What?
It's Corey's moment.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm here representing Wesley Community Action, but I'm also part of Paikakariki Orchard and Gardens Group and the PyCycle and composting initiative down there, which the council has supported to a great degree, which we really appreciate. And so we've built up quite a lot of experience on how to actually do it safely and well. And it's quite simple, really. It's based on the standard old school NZ compost box system. So we've got three or I think 4 boxes, 3 or 4 boxes. We collect the kai scraps and then they go into one box in the system. We then mix that with some carbon element. Typically that will be tree mulch, arborist mulch, that kind of stuff. And we do about a 50-50. We've worked out as about the right ratio. So then that goes into the bin, and then that's monitored with temperature and things like that to make sure it's not going anaerobic. We need to make sure it's aerobic. And if it does start to go anaerobic, then we can make some amendments by either turning it or adding some more carbon or doing something else. And then as we fill up the first bin, once that's full, we then move it into the second bin, then we start filling up the next one. And that turning process as well ensures that it remains anaerobic through that as well. And and then by the time we've got to the third bin or potentially the fourth bin, depending on the size of the system, then that compost is ready to be used. It will be full of biology. What we're also going to be doing in this project as well, I'm also a soil food web lab technician, which means that I can assess using my microscope the biology in the compost as well. And that's really what's really key in the composting is it's about the biology that we're actually creating, and then we're going to then take that compost full of biology. We're going to put that out onto the marakai, and which will then bring that soil back to life, bring the biology back in there, and then we can grow amazing fruit and vegetables without the need for any artificial fertilizers, pesticides or herbicides. And that will be super nutrient dense as well. So bringing that kind of health aspect into it.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great, kaupapa. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank you, Corey. That was a very interesting insight into the work that you're doing. So thank you very much for coming along today, Amanda and Corey. Oh, there's another question, Councillor Halliday.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. So, look, awesome, kaupapa. You're going to start off working with marae on site down at Kapiti College, is that right? And then what next stage is to have houses around that area or even students bringing in their food scraps type thing? Is that?
Absolutely. This is the beginning of something that will grow over time. And so we're starting the marakai. The Kapiti College marakai has been based at the marae and has been needing some love. So we started really small, but we've been able to bring in local experts and mentors that can really take things next level. So, and you know, it's pretty exciting in terms of how much this could be integrated into the learning through across the curriculum at school. So, yeah, the marae is a starter. And definitely with POG as an example, you know, already 2 of the young people that are involved with collecting the community scraps and paikakariki are KC students. So again, that's where we hope to get it to over time. But we're starting with the setting up the fundamental systems, and then we've got all those year 7 and 8s coming through the Raumati Technology Centre that's got all the, these sustainability practices embedded already for them. So it's about that continuity, which is an EnviroSchools mission, is we want this right through as they come from Raumati South Kindergarten through the into the primary schools, and then into the through the technology centre that's adding massive value, and then in terms of sustainability, and then into the college. So it's a long-term integrated journey.
And would you be also making the wider school available, aware of what you're doing as well? Because part of, I guess, what I'm leading to is it's giving that wider education to the community with regards to changing patterns and habits, I guess, with regards to what they do with their recycling, whether that be food scraps or other things as well.
So food technology, social sciences, obviously all the sciences, the learning support group of neurodiverse students already want to be involved. We've got teacher aides that want to come on board. So absolutely, it's about taking it through the school over time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Amanda and Corey, again. As I said, we'll consider your applications later on. So now we're going to move on to Energise Otaki. We've got Lee and Kirsty. If they'd like to come forward, please.
Kia ora everyone, good morning. My name is Lee Ramsey, Chairman of Energise Otaki. Thanks for the opportunity to submit on the application we have. I'd like to introduce Kirsty.
Yeah, I'm Kirsty Doyle. I'm part of the Energise Otaki bike space.
Yep. So this is a great project. It's well established. We started it back in about 2013, and we're looking at expanding it significantly. Points that we should raise. At the time we started it, the oil price was $35. Today it's $87, up $2 from yesterday. So we're all about reducing, improving energy efficiency and reducing waste, and how that affects the community locally. All our projects are energy focused to benefit the community. So this project, over the years, we've recovered several hundred bikes from landfill, or destined to landfill, or in people's garages. We have a team of people that restore them, and we give them out to the community by way of a koha at this stage. But this application is speaking to expanding that project. We also collaborate with several other district groups. We actually started with Paikakariki Bike Library and spun out from there, but we decided at that stage the library was not suitable for what we were doing with a different demographic and a wider population base. But we've developed to the point where we're now looking to just sort of add that to it, because we think that's a good community engagement model where children can be upgraded with bikes through their growing ages. And we can't do this without volunteers, and we can't do it without money, and both go hand in hand. And the ability to have paid infrastructure has made a huge difference to the project becoming as successful as it is. Also, the other work that Council and NZTA have done to link the cities, the districts and the town with the cycleways is going to make a big difference as we see higher oil prices, more resource depletion, and the ability to commute between towns. And we do that. We have given away bikes, or people have brought bikes off us to commute between Otaki, Waikanai, Paraparaumu, and so on. We collaborate with, as I say, Paikakariki Bike Library. We've got a new collaboration with the Low Carbon Capity, which is more of a lobby group, but they want to get their hands greasy as well. So as I said, we're an action group, not a lobby group, and we think we've done very well with the project and look forward to expanding it. And I would just say quickly too that we wouldn't be sitting here without the previous and existing support of KCDC. Kirsty,
There's a real need in the Otaki community for bikes. We collect, we give about approximately 100 bikes a year away, either by giving them or by koha. They go to all sorts of people. I work at Otaki College. I know that a lot of the kids come and they actually cycle to school. There's limited transport available in Otaki. It's a great model. We have people that will come to us for bikes for grandchildren who will give a koha, and we've got other people that really need them. It's just an all-round good project. Once a year we have a bike giveaway at Otaki College where we give away a number of bikes, and we also do free community repairs as well. So it's all just part of that project.
So thank you very much for your presentation and for your application. Do I have any questions from members of the committee? Councillor Coe.
Look, I see that most of your project cost is going on wages, payment to people that are involved in the project, and that's really important, I think, to have paid people. I know what it's like from personal experience trying to run things strictly on a volunteer basis. It just doesn't work. But I am concerned, if we're not able to fully fund you, how does that impact on your ability to bring in the right people? Because, it's not often easy to cut back on staff.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the usual question. If you didn't receive the full funding, or if you didn't get it all, what would you do? Well, we'll carry on. We've got significant funding in our application of who else has funded you. And we've got several applications in with others, so this is a growing group of a growing project. So we would really welcome the support, but we will continue.
So you'll scale up or scale down depending on the amount of funding you get in total?
Well, we might not do what we will. This is an expansion. If we don't get the funding, we will seek funding to expand other ways. If we don't get that, we will continue with our grassroots project, which has proven to be successful. And I would just like to say on the funding side of it, I mean, we found that building a team of super people is great, and Kirsty as the lead on that, which a large proportion of that funding is for, as a known coordinator with the Kite Festival. She runs that and significant projects at the college. So I guess that we'll keep doing it. To answer your question, we'll keep seeking funding.
Good on you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coe. Mr. Black.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Kia ora. Thank you very much for your project. I live in Otaki as well, so I appreciate the work that you do. Questions are, how big is your volunteer team, and how many people are you expecting to get paid from this as well?
I'm the sort of the lead coordinator, so I pull everybody in. We have anywhere between sort of 5 and 12 people at our monthly meet. We meet about every month or every 5 weeks through most of the year. We have a bit of a break over Christmas. Most of our volunteers actually volunteer for lots of different projects. In fact, I don't know one person that comes to us that actually only does the Otaki bike space.
Great. And where do you get your bikes from? How do you advertise to receive bikes?
We don't need to advertise to receive bikes. They come through various ways. They come into our Energise Otaki office, through Facebook, through drop-offs. Word of mouth really is the way that they come back to us. We get plenty of bikes. We could probably triple the project.
Great.
Yeah, so we do work with the collaboration with Paikokariki Bike Library with Jan Nesbitt, who's run one of the most successful bike libraries in the country. Originally, she gave me 27 bikes I took home on my trailer. That's a lot of bikes on a trailer. And that's where it all started from, was that initiative, and then we've just built the recycling up through the whole district.
Great.
We could give away probably 3 or 4 times as many bikes as we have. There's a real need.
In our strategic documents, we talk about doing 400 a year.
Brilliant. Good.
And moving to electric bikes and electric cars.
Brilliant. Great.
Thank you, Mr. Blake.
I have a bike I can donate to you as well.
Sure, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we'll take it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Black. So
Thank
we'll
you,
now go on to Councillor Warwick online.
Oh, hi everyone. I don't have a question. I just wanted to give a shout out to Lee and Kirsty and the team who do an amazing amount of work and a lot of volunteer hours on all kinds of projects that are benefiting our community and the environment. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Councillor Warwick. Now to Councillor Halliday. Thank
Through
you.
to you, Madam Chair. Thank you. And look, again, echo those words. You guys do fantastic work up that way. I just noticed here there are 4 main parts of the projects: there's workroom and operation location. Has that been established as such yet? Because I noticed all your funding is regards to outkitting something, but it doesn't look like there's any sort of rental or anything along that sort of line. Do you have a space lined up at the moment for what it is you're doing?
So initially we have our what we call our Main Street office, which is where bikes get dropped into by the community, 7 Main Street, Otaki Township, and we also lease a lock-up on a private residence at 512 State Highway 1, which is a shed about a quarter the size of this room, and we pay $100 a week for that. Currently, and have done for a couple of years.
Cool, lovely.
We're looking at, to answer your question in more detail, we are talking with shown interest in the Huritai Park building, the former Otaki Child Centre building.
Oh, yes.
To that effect, which has been vacant for several years, and we could see that being a really good asset. It's a good asset to the community, and we think we could do a lot with that, with our multiple projects, but generally the bike space project would be led there, where we could do workshops and things like that. I just would add too that there's the carbon reduction in all of this too, which is what we're here for, is the inherent energy that's trapped in the bikes for making them landfilling space, human energy, displaced fossil fuels, just to add to the application.
Lovely.
Does that answer your question?
No, it does. I was just curious. No, that's marvellous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee and Kirsty, for coming along today. And so now we will move on to the next 2 applications. It's the Paikokariki Orchard and Gardens and the Ngātahapu Otaki. So neither of these people are able to be here, and so Rob is going to speak. He's going to read an email on their behalves. Thank you, Rob.
Tēnā koutou katoa, Atamaria, everybody. My name's Rob Dunn. I'm the council officer who's been coordinating the climate action grants, and I'd just like to take a moment to thank and acknowledge all the applicants for submitting such great applications and for taking the time to come and speak to their applications this morning. So thank you very much. We've had a couple of last minute sicknesses, so I'll read first from John Raitt from Paikokariki Orchard and Gardens, which is for the biochar application. We really wanted to thank the Climate Action Subcommittee for their support so far, and of course, hopefully into the future. Running the workshops has been an absolute privilege. We have met some wonderful people. Our wānanga around biochar opens up so much discussion on not only carbon, but all sorts of topics. Having the right kit available and accessible for people to use is essential for us going forward. It will enable me to use my truck towing a trailer for large workshops, as I can fit both kilns on with backup quenching water and our catering and safety kits. Also, to guarantee we have enough dry burn material available. A purpose-built trailer will enable others to use the big kiln and or the barbecue easily without always relying on my availability. The other reason I really wanted to attend was to network and congratulate the other applicants, to offer my chapai services and see how we could work together. Please offer my contacts to anyone who is interested. And I'd just add a note to that in a few months' time, we're proposing that we have a bit of a get-together with this year's and last year's Climate Action Grant recipients, so we can do exactly that, so we can network. So I'm probably not very well positioned to answer questions, but I've had a bit to do with this project, so I can do my best if there are any questions.
Are there any questions from members of the committee? You're off the hook.
I could stay here and go straight into Jelane's submission. So
yes, please. Thank you.
So this one is from Jelane Tahiwi and Mokomoros on behalf of Ngā Hapu Otaki. Even though our world is evolving to a very fast pace, sometimes too fast for some of our whānau, we need to acknowledge how important connections and people are. That climate conversation happens when we have made these connections, then we get to address any actions that might help to mitigate human-induced climate change. As Indigenous people, it is not the climate that is at fault, it is humans. We consider our climate our atua, our tuakana, which is an intrinsic part of who we are. Taiao is our rongoa, not only rākau, but a wairoa, hence a connection to our environment. This fund will help us to connect with those at a deeper level and start to understand what issues are arising for them, especially within our small hapori of Otaki. We have had many conversations within our kaumātua ropu, rangatahi and whānau about what this looks like in a civil emergency. They have told us they are worried and afraid. We intend to bring our kaumātua, whānau, rangatahi, mums and bubs closer by creating a tuakana taina system where they can be kept in contact with and gently reminded. Change your water, check your batteries, charge your phone, wear your shoes, glasses, etc. The outcomes will be a recipe book printed and a workshop on how to feed yourself well in an emergency. Alongside this, we would like to develop a seed library at the Otaki Library, and we'll work with Maya on how this might happen. While this is the outcome, we are not focusing on this, but rather understanding what makes our community well and learning from them so we can adjust when necessary. We should not only rely on our kōrero and information, but share in conversation with others of how they can contribute to their own needs. There may be some cultural tikanga needs within different whānau that need to be cared for during these times of gathering information. We acknowledge the mahi that KCDC has done in this area, but not all of it is accessible to our people. We want to ensure they are safe, well, connected, and can have an honest, human-induced climate change conversation. We are excited at what we might learn from them. An investment in this proposal is an investment in our people. We work within our community with different ropu and organisations. Ngā Hapua Otaki were lucky enough to be part of a collective with Te Wānanga o Raukawa, Raukawa Whānau Ora, and Te Puna Oranga and the instrumental of Ki Te Apopo Rangatahi Symposium, which brought over 1,200 people to the Hapori of Otaki last Friday. Building relationships is vital for any connections, whatever space we are in, and ensuring we do this will help the process for many of our whānau within the Hapori have a deeper understanding of being able to get themselves ready as best they can for a civil emergency and be responsive of being good kaitiaki for the taio. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. So, again, I'm not sure that I'm well positioned to answer any questions about that, but I can do my best.
So are there any questions from the committee? Mr Black.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's not really a question, but it's just basically an endorsement in support of this kaupapa. They're a great network up there. They're doing so much for the resilience of the community, and I think the knowledge investment would be worthwhile. So thank you very much.
I thank you, Rob, for reading out those two statements. Appreciate your efforts on doing that. So now we'll move on to the last of our applications for the Carbon Action Grants. Lynn Sleeth and Richard Young, if they'd like to come forward, please. From Kapiti Cycle Action.
Oh, got the seat down low. Thank you. Richard's just handing out some paperwork. Okay. Yeah. I guess in simple language, I'm the project owner, and Richard is the project manager. If you can follow what our two roles. So Richard will be able to cover the technical matters. I'm really talking from the top. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm not going to speak to the request because essentially you're proposing to fund what pretty much what we've asked for. So I don't think we need to speak in principle about the value of a bike bus or even a bike bus in Waikato. And we appreciate the staff's input into that recommendation. But we do want to speak today about the conditions that are before you. We only had a chance last night to speak very briefly with the staff about those conditions. That they haven't been discussed with us previously. There was a problem with getting our submission through your internal IT system. So the staff didn't really have enough time to have a proper meeting with us. So as a result, we've got conditions here which, if they remain on the table and they're conditions of the funding, we can't proceed with this project. So we're really looking for you to give us an opportunity today to run through those conditions very briefly and then give you a proposed way forward, a compromise, which we think would allow it to proceed. So first of all, the funds are adequate, even though it's a little less than what we've proposed. They would allow us to carry out most of what we've proposed. I want to speak firstly about the first condition, which is essentially the evaluation report. We've always intended in this remedy bike bus project to do a report. This is a pilot project. The idea is to develop the process and then write up what the learnings from that project and pass them back to council. But I want to caution you. That's fine. We'll provide you a report in October. But the numbers, I think the numbers appear in this recommendation a lot. That we're not going to get big numbers. I mean, we're now in the middle of winter. It's very hard for parents to get excited about dressing up their children with lots of gear and go out in the middle of winter. So the numbers at the moment are very low. Despite our best endeavours, we've only got about 30 on the database from last year. 15 of those were trained, so we can't really operate the bike bus with more than 15 at the moment. At the moment, we've only got half a dozen or so riding. So come October, I don't think the numbers are going to be breathtakingly bigger. So that's the first point. Richard wants to discuss the health and safety plan.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Richard Young aho. Just really to address the comments relating to health and safety, we did meet council staff back in February, and one of the documents, there's 2 copies of the document coming around there. We did undertake quite an extensive health and safety review and modifications, which we did submit to council. We haven't received any feedback from those. We did ask for some more feedback yesterday, but nothing was forthcoming. We believe that the health and safety concerns raised here have been addressed with the revised health and safety plan that we put forward to council on the 24th of April. And the fact that we didn't receive any feedback, we took that as being that complete acceptance of the modifications within that. We do think we've got the balance right with health and safety. There was talk about appointing external reviewers. Council could end up spending a lot more money reviewing this project than the project's actually going to cost to deliver. So I think that's probably a matter for the council to look through on that. So just to say, absolutely, health and safety is paramount. The 25-page document comes through, which was the review of the Raumati Bike Bus first 3 routes, which is the second document I've just circulated, a couple of copies. 3/4 of that is related to health and safety and risk mitigation. And we do believe that we have adequately addressed that. If council would like to come back with some additional comments, we happily receive them, but to date, we've not received anything from the information we submitted in April. So I think on health and safety, we're good. Just for Lynn to finish.
Okay. The paragraph towards the bottom about the reporting back to this committee in November, effectively no funding until November. If I just run you through the program for this year, the funds were allocated in September last year, meeting with council, initially about the hazard management plan that Richard's mentioned. We then engaged with the school and the parents and produced this database of children. We then got training ready at the 2 schools in November, had a further meeting with council staff in December, modified the report. In February, the council came back to us with some more suggestions on the risks. And in April, and meanwhile, we were obtaining police clearances, which were not part of our brief. We didn't realise that the schools would require every volunteer, every parent that turned up to be scrutinised by police. It can take up to 2 months to get these people. Police have to look at everyone's passports. So we didn't get police clearance until April, and we then started rolling in May. So this proposal here, funding before Christmas, we then booked pedal ready, New Year, February, March. We'll be in the same situation as we are now, trying to do this thing in the middle of winter. We need to start it earlier. We have to start it earlier than this year, really, ideally. So what our proposal here on a way forward is 50% of the funds now up front. That allows Richard to start do the planning, talk to the schools, talk to the parents, build up a database, book the training, and get the police checks done. And then 50% in November, when we come back with this report on the success or otherwise of the Raumati bike bus, we can report whether or not we feel there's support from the community, whether or not we've got a critical mass, have we got enough parents out there, have we got volunteers? We need a few volunteers as well as children, and we'd be able to report on that in November. If that's successful, then we run with the balance of the funds and the project is alive. If we don't get that support, then we we don't, we drop the project and you can reallocate the balance of the funds to other projects. So that's our proposal, and we're happy to negotiate that.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So do we have any questions from members of the committee? Councillor Coe.
Yeah, look, I just wonder, have you fully utilised the funding that was given to you in the last round?
Sure. We're about 2/3 of the way through the spend on the funding that's been allocated, but by the time we come back to report in October, that will all be allocated, plus or minus a little bit maybe, but almost all of it will
So
be
it won't be
allocated.
enough to keep you going in terms of what you need to do to move forward?
The Raumati funding, I think, was about 17,000. That will be sufficient to complete the Raumati project. I've made a commitment to make sure that the hours required to do that will be forthcoming. But the Raumati funds aren't sufficient to start doing Waikanae work, nor should we start doing Waikanae work with Raumati funds without bringing it back to you.
Are there any further questions? So I have a question. I know that you've provided this information, but just to summarise, over the last year, how many children have actually been able to utilise this project?
As Lynn said, we've trained about 15. We're actually going to do another round of training at the beginning of next term, and I think the maximum we've had is 8 students on a particular day, which is 8 we may not have had previously. And I think one of the things to sort of highlight is that it's a community initiative, and there's the key thing is to get community engagement, community involvement. So last week, which I think was 2 degrees, we had 3 students come along with one of the volunteer helpers to deliver the bike bus. I think that shows the level of commitment that is latent within the community there. And it's pretty obvious that they wouldn't have been riding to school if the bike bus hadn't have given them that impetus to get on and do it. So it's a bit like, how do you measure success when you plant a seed? Is it when it shoots through or whether it grows into a tree? And I'd love to say we've got a tree with fruit on at this stage, but we don't. Perhaps we need some of the compost from the other contributors.
Yes. So I note in the application that both the 2 Waikanae primary schools have got various initiatives already up and running. I'm just wondering what gap this actually fills.
Neither schools have a cycle to school program running. What one of the schools does is it's currently doing the Pedal Ready program, which is a prerequisite of the training. The other school hasn't done Pedal Ready for 4 years, and they're seeing this as a good springboard to get all their students cycle trained within that. Both schools do Move in March, which is a active mode initiative in March, but neither school have an active bike bus. As you may well realise, the geography of Waikanae means that even from Waikanae Beach, those students actually go to Waikanae School, which is the other side of the railway line. And we've been out and looking at routes, and we already have students that are riding, but the challenges of getting through the interchange where the expressway goes through and the alternate along the river has been quite challenging to get more students cycling. And certainly both schools believe that with a more organised, more formalised structure, we'll be able to pick up a significant number of students along those routes, and especially utilising the new footbridge coming into Waikanae, because the cycle route on the south side of the Waikanae River is vastly superior, much safer than the one on the northern side. So that would be a really good use of the investment within that facility there.
So thank you very much, Richard and Lynn, for coming along to speak today. And so I'd actually like to thank all the applicants who've come along today, and those who aren't here, as well as those who are here, for the quality of the applications that you have submitted. And so now we've got the task of trying to allocate all the funds. So I wish you all luck, and no doubt you'll hear in due course how you get on. So thank you very much again. So what we're going to do is take a 5-minute break before our next speaker, and so enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye now.